Stop fooling yourself. The enemy is not outside, it's in your head. It's those thoughts you silently repeat, the ones that tell you that you can't, that it's too late, that it's not worth trying. But you're wrong. It's not life that punishes you, it's your mind that has made you its prisoner. This video is not for those looking for comfort, it's for those who want to break free. For the silent fighter who is tired of battling with their own internal dialogue, who smiles on the outside while inside they try not to crumble. If that's you, you need to hear this with brutal honesty. You're not going to destroy your negative thoughts by running away from them, but by confronting them with the same calmness with which a warrior sharpens his sword. Stoic philosophy is not about pretending strength, but about building it from within. It will teach you to observe what you think without identifying with it, to accept what you cannot change, to master your emotions, and to reclaim your power where it has always been, in your mind. Don't expect a sweet speech. What you'll hear is discipline, awareness, and a truth that hurts but liberates. If you're still here, it's because you're ready to face what has controlled you for years. Get ready. Today, you're going to understand how to destroy negative thinking from the root. One, question your thoughts. Your mind can be your temple or your prison, and the difference lies in one single thing, whether you believe everything you think or not. Negative thoughts have a precise ability. They seem like absolute truths, when in reality, they are just interpretations. They disguise themselves as logic, but they are born out of fear, comparison, or old wounds that still breathe within you. The most dangerous thing is not that they exist, but that you take them as an order, as if every thought that passes through your head were a divine command. Questioning your thoughts is the most rebellious and liberating act you can practice. You don't need to fight them, just observe them coldly. When your mind tells you, "I am not enough," don't respond with a "yes, I am." Respond with something more powerful. Why do I think that? What is that idea based on? What you will discover is that most of these conclusions were not born from you, but from what someone made you believe, from a mistake you turned into identity, or from an unfair comparison with others. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus said that it is not what happens that affects us, but our opinion about what happens. Your mind can manufacture hells or heavens with the same material, your interpretations. If you don't question them, you end up a slave to your thoughts. But if you learn to interrogate them, they weaken, lose shape, and return control to you. The next time that thought that sinks you appears, don't repress it or follow it. Look at it as if it were not yours. Ask yourself, is this true or is it just a story? Negative thinking needs you to believe it blindly to survive. It lives off your attention, feeds off your reaction. If you learn to observe it without worshipping it, it starves to death. It's not about filling yourself with positive affirmations as if you were a robot repeating encouraging phrases. It's about using reason as your sword. The thought arrives, you observe it, analyze it, and if it has no basis, you let it go. It's that simple. Think of your mind as a room full of voices. Some are yours, others are echoes from the past. Silence does not appear by eliminating the voices, but by understanding which ones deserve to be heard. You don't need to turn off the noise completely. Just recognize that you decide what volume each voice has. That is the real power, not automatically believing everything your mind tells you. Questioning your thoughts does not make you cold, it makes you free. Life does not stop having problems, but it stops having power over you. Because the problem is no longer the thought that appears, but what you do with it. If you learn to pause for a second before believing what your mind repeats, you gain an immense space, and in that space is where inner freedom lives. Whenever you doubt, remember this: the mind does not always tell the truth, it only narrates a story based on your emotions. Your task is not to silence it, but to direct it. Be the observer, not the prisoner. And when your mind tries to dominate you with its old arguments, look at it calmly and repeat to yourself, "This thought does not define me, it only visits me." That is the attitude of the silent fighter who stops obeying fear and begins to govern with wisdom. 2. Accept what was. There are battles that only exist in your head because you can't accept that the past won't change. You torment yourself by going over scenes, phrases, and decisions that can no longer be fixed. You try to mentally redo what is already done, as if you could turn back time by just thinking about it enough. But what you're doing is prolonging the suffering. You don't accept what happened because you still believe that if you analyze it a bit more, it will hurt less. The truth is the opposite. It hurts because you don't accept it. Accepting doesn't mean giving up. It means to stop arguing with what has already occurred. It's looking at the past in the eye and saying, yes, that happened. I don't deny it, I don't sugarcoat it, I don't replay it in my mind anymore. The Stoic philosophy makes it clear. The pain doesn't come from the facts, but from the resistance to them. Marcus Aurelius wrote it with the serenity of someone who has understood life. What happens is fair because it has happened. Not because it's pleasant, but because it's real. And reality doesn't negotiate. Think about how much energy you've wasted wishing something had been different. That energy could have been used to build, but you waste it in a war against ghosts. Accepting what was is not forgetting. It's making peace with your history to be able to move forward. If you keep looking back, you'll stumble over the present. Life doesn't wait for you to resolve your nostalgia to continue. Accepting is maturing. It's understanding that things didn't have to be different for you to learn from them. Every mistake, every loss, every disappointment was part of your emotional training. The Stoic doesn't seek revenge against the past. He seeks understanding. Eliminate the phrase, "it shouldn't have happened like this," and replace it with, "it happened as it should." That simple substitution transforms the wound into a lesson. Maybe someone hurt you. Maybe you failed or you lost something you loved. It's not about justifying what was unfair, but about assuming that repeating it in your mind chains you to the same pain over and over again. The past doesn't need your approval, it needs your release. And that release begins when you accept that what happened no longer has power over you unless you give it to it. Imagine yourself in the middle of a river, trying to stop the current with your hands. That's what you do when you refuse to accept. You exhaust yourself, you frustrate yourself, and you end up feeling that life drags you along. But if you let go, if you let the water flow, you discover that you can also move with it. You can't control the current, but you can control your way of navigating it. That's the principle of amor fati. Love fate, not for what it brings, but because it's yours. Accepting doesn't erase the pain, it transforms it. It doesn't eliminate the past, it integrates it. It doesn't take away your strength, it gives it back to you. Calm doesn't come when everything is fine, but when you understand that not everything has to be fine to be at peace. If you learn to accept what was, the past stops chasing you and becomes a silent teacher who guides you without dominating you. So stop asking time to go back. You don't need a different story, you need a different look. Every scar you carry is not proof of weakness, but of resilience. Don't run from the past, embrace it firmly and say, "I understand you. Thank you for what you taught me. Now I move on." That's the acceptance that frees and turns pain into wisdom. 3. Pause before reacting. Impulse is the language of the uncontrolled mind. Reacting without thinking is like throwing gasoline on a fire and then wondering why everything is burning. Most of the mistakes we make are not born from what happens, but from what we do seconds later. Those seconds are the difference between chaos and calm, between destroying something valuable or saving it. Therefore, the real power is not in always having the answer, but in knowing when to be silent and observe. The pause is the refuge of the wise. It's not weakness, it's mastery. When something upsets you, when someone provokes you, your body reacts before your mind. The blood boils, the heart speeds up, and words rise to the mouth like arrows ready to shoot. But the Stoic understands that this moment is a trap. If he gives in to the impulse, he loses control. If he breathes, he regains it. Marcus Aurelius said that the best way to avenge yourself is not to resemble your aggressor. In other words, do not let the other's behavior turn you into what you despise. Pausing is looking from above. It's taking a mental distance and asking yourself, does this deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer will be no. However, you react because your ego demands to defend itself, to prove, to win. But winning is not always responding. Sometimes, victory is in the silence that confuses the one who expected your chaos. This is Stoic wisdom in action, not allowing a momentary emotion to steal the serenity that has cost you so much to build. Every time you pause, you interrupt the cycle of reactivity. Your mind is trained not to obey the first impulse, and that is emotional evolution. You don't need to fight every battle that comes your way. Some are won simply by refusing to participate. There is no glory in losing your cool at every provocation. Greatness is in keeping the mind firm while the world screams around. Think about that time you responded in anger and then regretted it. What did you gain? Only more burden, more noise, more guilt. If you had waited a little longer, if you had breathed before speaking, you probably wouldn't be carrying that feeling today. The pause is that invisible space where reason prevails over emotion. It's the moment where you can clearly see what previously seemed urgent. The Stoics trained the mind just for that, not to be carried away by the emotions of the moment. Epictetus taught that it is not what happens to you that disturbs you, but how you interpret it. If you learn to pause, you have enough time to interpret with consciousness, not with impulse. Each pause is an act of power because it shows that you are not a slave to what you feel, but a master of what you do. In a world where everyone reacts instantly, stopping makes you someone rare, but also someone strong. Most people are carried away by the collective emotional tide. You, on the other hand, can stand firm, serene, imperturbable, not because you don't feel, but because you choose not to be governed by what you feel. So the next time you feel the fire rising, don't respond. Breathe. Wait. Not because you are weak, but because you know that your power is in control, not in the outburst. The pause is not cowardice, it is applied wisdom. It's the reminder that you choose how the story ends, not your impulse. The one who masters his pause, masters his life. For break the mental story. Each person carries a story that they repeat in silence. It's that narrative that begins with, I always have bad luck, nobody values me, everything goes wrong for me. It sounds like a truth, but in reality it's a cage. It's the narrative that your mind created to explain your pain, but over time it became your identity. You repeat it so much that you no longer know if you're saying it or living it. And the most dangerous thing of all is that you end up acting according to that story, even when reality gives you evidence to the contrary. Breaking the mental story is the first step to freeing your present, because as long as you keep interpreting each situation with the same internal script, you'll get the same result. No matter how much you change the environment or the people, if the story inside your head remains the same, life won't move an inch. The Stoics understood this clearly. The mind creates suffering when it interprets reality from the past. Negative thinking does not live from the fact itself, but from the meaning you give it. If you tell yourself that everyone betrays you, you'll see betrayal even where there is none. If you repeat to yourself that you're not enough, you'll filter every word and every gesture to confirm that idea. It's not that the world is punishing you. It's that your mind seeks evidence to keep its story alive. That's why you need to break the narrative before the narrative devours you. Take a pause and ask yourself, what is the story I repeat most in my mind? Write it down if you can. Maybe it says, I'm the one who always fails. Nobody understands me, or I'll never be happy. Now look at it coldly. What would happen if you let it die? Don't correct it, destroy it. You don't need to replace it with empty motivational phrases. You need silence. Because in that silence, a space opens up for a new version of you. One that is not defined by wounds, but by lessons. Breaking the mental story requires courage. It forces you to stop justifying your limits. It strips you bare. It shows you that pain is not your enemy, but your mirror. That you're not the result of what happened to you, but of what you decide to do with it. The Stoic doesn't ask, why me? Would they ask, what can I learn from this? That change of question destroys the script of victimhood and opens the path to inner freedom. Every time you hear yourself repeating the same story, interrupt yourself. Don't finish it. Don't give it the pleasure of completing itself. Cut the sentence short. Do it over and over again. The mind is like an actor that needs its script to act. If you take it away, it doesn't know what to do. And that's when the transformation begins. Remember, you can't have a new life if you keep telling yourself the same old story. Nobody changes by repeating the same phrases that destroy them. Life doesn't punish you, it reflects you. And as long as the story you tell yourself is full of guilt, resentment, or fear, that's what you'll see reflected in everything you touch. Breaking the mental story is breaking with the version of you that survived, but no longer represents you. You don't need to keep justifying your sadness with old arguments. You're not your past. You're not the echo of what someone did to you. You're the one who has the power to rewrite what comes next. So do it. Break the story. Dismantle the phrases that imprison you and start building a new truth, one where you're not the one who suffers, but the one who awakens. 5. Protect your environment. You cannot heal if you continue living in the same noise that makes you sick. The environment in which you move shapes your mind more than you imagine. The words, attitudes, and energies of the people around you end up infiltrating your way of thinking, speaking, and feeling. You don't need declared enemies. An environment that drains your energy little by little is enough, until you start thinking that the problem is you. But it's not your mind that's broken, it's the environment that's contaminating it. Protecting your environment is not selfishness, it's mental survival. If someone makes you feel small every time you speak, if your environment forces you to pretend to fit in, you are living in a minefield. The mind cannot strengthen if every day it must defend itself from the same poison. The Stoics knew that virtue is cultivated in silence, but also in the right space. You cannot train calmness if everything around you is chaos. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul is dyed the color of its thoughts." Today, we could add, the soul is also dyed the color of its environment. You are absorbing what you look at, what you listen to, what you consume. If you are surrounded by complaint, envy, drama, or mediocrity, that will seep into you. Not because you want to, but because the human mind is imitative by nature. That's why you must learn to be selective with what you let in. Not only with what you eat, but with what you listen to and who you share your energy with. The environment is not only people. It's also the places where you spend time, the content you consume, the thoughts you reinforce with your daily actions. If you wake up surrounded by noise, distraction, and negativity, your mind will have no space for calm. You need to create an environment that reflects the type of person you want to be. Let your room, your conversations, and your habits be consistent with your purpose. Sometimes the problem is not a lack of discipline, but an excess of pollution. You are trying to grow in a terrain that has no oxygen. And it's not about isolating yourself from the world, but filtering what you allow to influence you. The Stoic lives in the world, but does not mix with its madness. He participates without losing his center. He coexists without losing his essence. You cannot control everything that happens, but you can decide what you let into your mind. Protect your environment with the same seriousness with which you would protect your house from a fire. If something does not nourish your growth, remove it. If someone constantly steals your peace, put distance. It's not about hating, but prioritizing. Self-love is also demonstrated by choosing places where you can breathe. And if you cannot change your environment immediately, start by changing what you can, your attention. Do not feed empty conversations. Do not participate in emotional wars. Do not repeat the negativity of others. Be the filter, not the sponge. Stoic strength is not in running from chaos, but in keeping the mind clean within it. Remember, the environment can shape you or destroy you, depending on how much power you give it. So ask yourself today with brutal honesty, does my environment lift me up or drag me down? If it drags you down, get up. Create your own space, even if it starts small, even if no one understands it. Because when you take care of what surrounds you, what's inside you begins to bloom. And a clean mind does not need noise to feel alive, just clarity. 6. Respect your fatigue. The body screams what the mind refuses to accept. That exhaustion you feel is not always physical. It's emotional, mental, existential. You've been holding everything up for so long that you no longer distinguish between being strong and being exhausted. Society pushes you to keep going, to perform, to prove that you can handle everything, but no one teaches you to stop without feeling guilty. Fatigue is not weakness, it's a signal. It's the way your soul asks for a truce before collapsing. The Stoics did not confuse rest with laziness. They knew that the body and mind are allies, and that ignoring wear and tear is sabotaging your own strength. Marcus Aurelius, even as emperor, wrote that there were days when the soul needed to retreat within itself, not to run away but to recompose. Because without balance, discipline becomes punishment, and without rest, the mind loses clarity. Respect your fatigue as you would respect the silence of the night. Don't judge it, don't disguise it with empty productivity. Learn to say, today I need to stop. Not because you give up, but because you know that growth also occurs in the pause. If you push beyond the limit every day, all you will strengthen is your exhaustion. You can't heal if you treat yourself like an enemy. Negative thinking feeds on exhaustion. A tired mind sees threats where there are only challenges. It drowns in thoughts that at another time it would know how to handle. Rest is not a luxury, it's a mental strategy. It's the reboot that gives you back perspective. When you sleep well, when you breathe, when you disconnect from the noise, emotions return to their real size. What yesterday seemed like an abyss, today is just a stone in the road. Respect your limits, because no one else will do it for you. If you keep waiting for others to give you permission to rest, you're going to end up empty. No one can live clearly if they live in survival mode all the time. The mind can't fight negative thinking when it's saturated. It needs space, silence, time. That's not laziness, it's wisdom. The Stoics taught to live with moderation, not only in pleasures, but also in effort. Seneca warned that even virtue, if taken to excess, becomes vice. Working without pause, demanding without measure, punishing yourself for not performing more, all of this is also vanity disguised as discipline. Learn to rest without feeling guilty. Rest does not take you away from your goals. It prepares you to reach them with clarity and purpose. The true warrior is not the one who never stops, but the one who knows when to do so. Whoever respects their fatigue shows emotional intelligence, because they understand that they can't give their best from exhaustion. So when you feel that everything weighs on you, don't break yourself to keep moving forward. Stop, breathe, return to yourself. Calm is not a waste of time. It's the root from where your strength is reborn. Your mind doesn't need more pressure, it needs compassion. Respect yourself enough not to demand when your soul asks for rest. That pause doesn't weaken you, it rebuilds you. And when you return, you will do so more centered, wiser, stronger. Because only those who know how to rest know how to return to fight with clarity. 7. Practice gratitude. There are days when your mind only sees what is missing, what hurts, what did not go as you hoped. Negativity settles in like a silent shadow that turns every good thing into something invisible. You wake up and without realizing it, you are already counting what you do not have. But gratitude is the most practical and powerful way to break this cycle. It's not about naive optimism, but a mental strategy to re-educate the gaze. The mind that gives thanks does not deny the pain, it balances it. Practicing gratitude is not closing your eyes to reality, it is opening them again. It is understanding that even in the midst of chaos, there is something that still stands, something that holds you, even though everything seems to crumble. The Stoics saw gratitude as a form of wisdom. Seneca said that whoever does not appreciate what they have will not know how to enjoy what they desire. Because the mind that only focuses on lack never rests. It always runs after something it believes it needs to feel fulfilled. When you practice gratitude, you are not saying that everything is fine. You are recognizing that not everything is bad. It is looking at the same scenario from another angle. Most people live trapped in a mentality of lack, comparing themselves, complaining, desiring what others have. But that habit takes you away from the present and locks you in constant dissatisfaction. Gratitude, on the other hand, brings you back to the now. It reminds you that although you do not have everything you want, you already have more than you once dreamed of. Think about this. How many times have you gone through difficult stages that now seem distant, and yet you came out of them? How many things that you consider normal today, a few years ago, were your goal? The mind quickly gets used to the good and forgets to recognize it. That's why gratitude must be a practice, not a fleeting emotion. It must be exercised every day, like an invisible muscle that strengthens your perspective. The Stoics taught that gratitude also extends to pain, not because it is pleasant, but because it teaches. Suffering shows you your limits, your resistance, and your ability to adapt. If you learn to be grateful even for the trials, nothing can completely destroy you. To give thanks does not mean to enjoy pain. It means to recognize its role in your growth. It is to transform the why me into what is this showing me? Practicing gratitude also involves thanking for what did not happen, what could have gone worse and did not, the losses that saved you from wrong paths, the disappointments that forced you to mature. When you change the question from "Why is this happening to me?" to "What is this happening to me for?" your mind expands. Negative thinking disarms itself because it no longer has anything to feed on. Make gratitude a silent ritual. You do not need to say it out loud, just feel it with honesty. Every morning, before thinking about what is missing, recognize 3 things that are okay. It can be something as simple as your breath, your health, or the opportunity to start over. Gratitude does not change the external reality, it changes your relationship with it. And that is enough for everything to start looking different. A grateful mind does not easily sink because it always finds something to hold on to. Gratitude anchors you to the present, strengthens you in the face of adversity, and reminds you that life, even with its blows, is still a privilege. Practice it every day, especially when you least feel like it. Because on dark days, gratitude is not a pretty word, it is your refuge. 8. You are not your pain. Pain is an inevitable part of life, but constant suffering is an unconscious choice. Many get confused and start to build an identity from their wounds. They say, "I am anxious, I am a damaged person, I am someone who cannot trust," and with each phrase, they raise the walls of their own prison. But pain is not you, it is just an experience you go through. The difference is crucial. When you forget that, you stop living to start surviving. The mind has a cruel tendency to turn the past into a label. It makes you believe that having suffered, you will always be marked. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Epictetus said that things do not affect you for what they are, but for how you interpret them. Your pain does not define you. What you do with it does. Each wound can be an excuse to give up or a reason to grow. You decide which of the 2 stories to tell. You are not your sadness, even though it sometimes seems to inhabit you. You are not your dark thoughts, even though they visit you frequently. You are not the rejection, nor the abandonment, nor the fear that once broke you. You are the consciousness that observes all this without getting lost inside it. When you understand this, pain stops ruling you. You still feel it, but it no longer commands your decisions. That is the inner freedom that the Stoics sought, not to eliminate emotion, but to learn not to be dragged by it. The most common mistake is to fight with pain. You want it to disappear, you reject it, you hide it, but the more you repress it, the stronger it becomes. The wise path is not denial, it is integration. Accepting pain does not mean surrendering to it. It means recognizing its presence without letting it consume you. Like the fire that purifies metal, pain can forge you if you learn to hold it with patience. Most people seek comfort in escape, distractions, excesses, noise, wrong people. But each attempt to flee binds you more. The Stoic faces pain with serenity, without drama or victimhood. He knows that everything that feels unbearable has a limit, that no emotional state is eternal, and that the mind, when it quiets down, begins to heal itself. You do not need a life without pain to have peace. You need a mind that does not identify with it. When negative thinking appears and tells you that you can no longer, look at it head on and respond. This is just an emotion. It is not me. That simple phrase can change everything. It reminds you that pain is transient, and that although you feel it intensely, it does not belong to you. It goes through you, but it does not destroy you. What does destroy you is believing that it defines you. Imagine your wounds as scars on the skin. You do not cover them, but you also do not touch them every day, so they bleed again. You accept them, you observe them, and you move on. The same is true with emotional pain. It must be understood, not fed. You do not need to eliminate it, you need to let go of the story that keeps it alive. You are not your pain, you are the strength that resists it. You are the silence that remains even when everything burns. And when you manage to look at your suffering without fear, you discover something that was always there. Peace does not come when pain goes away, but when it no longer defines you. That is the final victory of the silent fighter. To feel without giving up, to suffer without breaking, and to keep walking with your head held high, knowing that nothing external has power over your spirit. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment, "I am Stoic," as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.